When Rocket League launched in July 2015, few predicted the journey it would take. What started as a relatively modest sequel to a quirky PS3 title, Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars, evolved into a global phenomenon, and then into something very different. Over the next 10 years, 2015 to 2025, the game underwent profound changes in mechanics, community culture, economy, monetization, and identity. Some of these changes brought new heights. Others left longtime fans wondering, what happened to the game I loved? In 2015, Rocket League felt charming, fresh, and relatively unburdened. The core loop was incredibly simple: drive a car, boost, hit a giant ball into a goal. That simplicity was its strength, because there were no massive seasonal battle passes, no complex item shops, and fewer hyper-competitive pressures. The experience felt relaxed and fun. Players learned aerials, wall shots, and began exploring the physics. Many of them did so cooperatively. You'll see groups experimenting together in casual, not necessarily grinding ranks. The collection side of the game was limited. Items were fewer, crates would appear later, so there wasn't a massive distraction away from the core gameplay. This era built a strong emotional foundation. People played because the game felt good, every goal felt earned, every save felt clutch, and the community was younger, smaller, tighter. 2016 was a pivotal year. The player base exploded. Content creators started spotlighting Rocket League. Training maps, custom modes via Steam Workshop, and community events multiplied. YouTube tutorials taught players how to dribble, aerial, and freestyle. The competitive scene still felt approachable. You weren't instantly tossed into super sweaty lobbies at low ranks. The game began building its culture. Tournaments, highlight reels, YouTube series, new cars and decals appeared, but the atmosphere remained relatively friendly. Many players were still discovering the mechanics together. The community felt like it was forging its identity. This was also when the idea of my car and my style began gaining traction. Players started caring more about how they looked while they played, though the economy side of things was still fairly modest in impact. 2017 introduced one of the most memorable shifts, the crate system. This changed the dynamic of how items worked. Open a crate, spin the wheel, hope for that rare black market slot. The thrill of randomness, the value fluctuation of items, and the trading ecosystem around them became integral to the broader experience. Players began to treat their inventories not just as cosmetic fluff, but as assets. There were entire sub-communities dedicated to trading, speculating, and showing off rare items. The moment of opening a crate was an event. You weren't just playing, you were investing in your car style and identity. Some sampled community reaction. I was a huge on the trade forums. I remember getting 50 keys for a set of Crimson Lightnings. Those were the days. Trading was a huge part of the Rocket League community, and people loved it. There was a whole sub-community just trading, not even playing ranked Reddit. This era deepened the emotional ties players had to Rocket League. When you swapped an item for your friend, or hunted for a rare decal, you were involved. The game felt more than just matches. It felt like a culture. By 2018, the trajectory shifted from casual fun towards serious competition. The skill ceiling skyrocketed. Mechanics that had once been rare, ceiling shots, fast aerials, became more common. Freestyling, pinch shots, half flips, and more advanced techniques entered mainstream play. The official competitive scene, Rocket League Championship Series (RLCS), matured. Players who could do advanced mechanics became celebrated. The casual side of the game still existed, but you could feel the pressure creeping in. More players cared about MMR, about preserving rank, about competitive credibility. This change brought dual edges. On one hand, the game became richer, deeper. For players who invested time and skill, Rocket League offered more nuance than ever. On the other hand, many casuals felt left behind. The friendly, experimental vibe of earlier years started to fade. Occasionally, you'll see players lament. Players started sweating in casual. People cared more about MMR than fun. While I don't have a direct Reddit quote here for that exact wording, the sentiment is present throughout forum discussions. 2019 marked a major turning point, the acquisition of Psyonix by Epic Games. To many players, it felt like the big leagues arriving. Cross-platform play, bigger budgets, greater exposure. On paper, it seemed positive. But underneath, the game's relationship to its community began shifting. With more resources came more business-level decisions. Monetization became more visible. The crate system and trading ecosystem that had been such a hallmark began to feel more regulated and corporate. Some players sensed the change. Epic Games was supposed to be this huge thing for the game. They basically said "F you" to the casual community. Removing trading is genuinely the stupidest idea I have ever seen. The overall reasoning was fully about monetization, unfortunately at the community's expense. It wasn't yet the full transformation, but the hints were there. Fewer surprises, more predictable business models, and a gradual departure from the early indie spirit. 2020 is the year Rocket League truly changed its market positioning. It went free to play. The barriers to entry dropped, millions of new players joined, and cross-platform integration deepened. On one side, this was a success. The game expanded, more people experienced it, and visibility soared. On the other side, some of the original identity got lost. The item economy began to shift. Crates were phased out, replaced by blueprints and direct shop purchases in many cases. The randomness and trading that once gave items speculative value was diminished. The trade-up systems, the spin the wheel, and hope for black market era started feeling like a bygone age. The community dialogue shows the tension. I got a blueprint on a crate trade-in for the Atomizer GE, but it had cost me 2,000 credits to unlock it. Yeah, I'm not paying $20 to unlock you. Players who built collections, who traded items as part of the culture, began to feel their investments were devalued. The game was still Rocket League, the driving, the ball, the goals, but the ecosystem around it changed. During this period, the game's competitive mechanics reached a high point. Terms like speed flip, musty flick, flip reset were common. Content creators posted montage after montage of insane plays. The skill ceiling soared. For those in the competitive track, this was amazing. Rocket League offered more depth than ever, more mastery to chase, but many casual players felt the fun began to shift into stress. Matches felt more like obligations. What's more, the item system and economy continued evolving toward monetization. With trading downplayed, the link between playing and item reward changed. Some players commented, "It's not even the removal of trading that makes everyone angry. It's the lack of communication. Also, instead of adding things, they are removing things." This era laid bare the divide, those who loved Rocket League for the pure mechanics, and those who loved it for the fun, flexible, less serious experience. 2024 will be remembered by many as the turning point where the game's identity shifted more clearly. At this moment, player-to-player trading, a feature core to many players' emotional and economic investment in Rocket League, was removed in December. The official reason was to align with Epic's broader policies, cross-game ownership, item transfer compliance, anti-fraud measures. But the community reaction was intense. When they removed trading, they didn't just remove an economy, they removed the soul of the game. It was clear they wanted to get rid of trading. Now, if you really want that goal explosion, you have no choice but pay. 100% this. My enjoyment and overall engagement with the game went downhill the moment they announced the removal of trading. In practical terms, the removal meant no lending items to friends, no peer-to-peer bartering, no speculative value for your painted wheels or black markets. For many players, a key social and economic layer of the game vanished. This stage marks a cultural dividing line. Before this, I traded with my friends, I had a collection, I cared about rare items. Now, I mostly care about rank and match wins. For many longtime players, this felt like loss. Here in 2025, Rocket League enters its 10th year as a mature IP. Technically, the game runs smoother, has better servers, cross-platform is seamless, and there's more polish than ever. But many veteran players look at it and feel something's missing. Mechanics are sharper, the experience is refined. But the raw, let's mess around and try weird things vibe of earlier years has faded. The economy is predictable. The trading community is mostly gone. The thrill of chasing a rare item via trade or crate spin has largely evaporated. Community sentiment encapsulates that. I was just saying it would have been cool for a day to do a trade event to celebrate RL. Moreover, seems 2025 is the last chance to bring back trade. Literally every post they make is accompanied by the comment, "Bring back trading," and gets thousands of likes. This isn't to say the game is bad. Far from it. Many new players love it. New mechanics are cool. But what old school players mourn is the shift in tone, culture, and identity. The phrase 2015 versus 2025 isn't just about visuals or lobby counts or car models, it's about how players feel. In 2015, you played with friends, you experimented, you grew together. In 2025, you compare stats, climb ranks, and your item collection is functional rather than collectible. The emotional gap is real. Many players say, Rocket League used to be about creativity, now it's about grinding. It's less about, did I hit a crazy shot, and more about, am I doing enough training packs to not lose rank? That shift matters. Despite all the changes, Rocket League retains key core strengths. The physics, the car-to-ball interaction, the satisfying hits. At its heart, the game still works. New players still discover the joy of flying their car for the first aerial or scoring in overtime. The community, though shifted, still creates content, tournaments still exist, and fun moments still happen. So the story isn't Rocket League died, it's Rocket League evolved, but not without costs.